Hi there, vinyl community. I hope you are all well. This is my first video, and to be honest with you, I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. It's been something I've wanted to do for a while, and today is that day. So, before we get into the vinyl, which, let's be fair, is what we're here for, let me just give you a wee bit of background information, a wee bit of info regarding myself. My name is Gary, and my channel is called Vinyl Kick. Now, I live in the west coast of Scotland in a town called Kilmarnock. Now, back in the day, there used to be 4 vinyl shops in Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock's not a big town. It's got a population of about 60,000, but back in the days, I said, there were 4 record stores in the town of Kilmarnock. Now there's none. So, if I want to go crate digging, or anybody else in this area wants to go crate digging, we've got to travel, which is unfortunate, but it's just the way it is these days. So, vinyl, yeah, I was brought up with vinyl. My dad had a very large and varied vinyl collection. His main love was traditional jazz, Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, Count Basie, Buddy Guy, all those guys, traditional jazz, and it was on a lot. That genre was ably and suitably supported by the likes of Frank Sinatra, the Clancy Brothers, Johnny Cash, and a host of others. So music was always a large part of my early years. I can't remember a time when he didn't have a record on of some sort or another. And I was actually, to be honest, I was fascinated by the album covers. Some of the early, I remember a Duke Ellington album, the cover was phenomenal, and I was absolutely fascinated by it. And that's what drew me to vinyl in the first place, was actually the album covers, to be fair. But I'm a child of the 70s, so my musical tastes were going to take a slightly different direction, as you can imagine. As much as I do like jazz, and I certainly like Frank Sinatra, Clancy Brothers, Johnny Cash, I could listen to any of them. Grown up in that era, in the 70s and the 80s, been round about, round about your pals and stuff like that, you did tend to listen, or your music taste would certainly be a bit different, if not a very big bit different from your parents. And now, I was quite happy originally with my father, now back and forth, picking me up the odd 7-inch, a Body M 7-inch or a Dart 7-inch, all good stuff, can still listen to it to this day. But that all changed the first time I seen The Clash. And I'll never forget it. It was in one of these Panorama News Night type programmes in 1977, and they were doing an article on the explosion of punk music. And part of this article on the BBC was The Clash, and we're playing Jenny Jones live, and it just absolutely blew me away. And from that day to this day, I've absolutely loved them. Collected vinyl, into all things Clash, all things punk, and other things. What is punk? It's an attitude, it's not exactly a sound, is it? You could argue. But yeah, that's when my musical taste changed, and the Clash were a massive part of that. Seeing them on the television live, I thought, my goodness, it was like 4 sticks of dynamite on the stage. Just all going off, brilliant, unbelievable. And then, slightly after that, I heard David Bowie's Aladdin Sane. Now, I was a late developer regarding David Bowie, and it was my friend's older brother had a copy of Aladdin Sane, and as I said earlier, album sleeves intrigued me, and Aladdin Sane album sleeve, absolutely, I loved it. I thought it was one of the best, I still do think it's one of the best album sleeves ever, for whatever reason, personal choice. And my friend's older brother, he played Aladdin Sane, and I was blown away. I thought, this is amazing, and I need to buy this. And I had, luckily at the time, I had enough pocket money to go and buy Aladdin Sane. However, when I did go to the local record shop, and the best record shop at the time in Kilmarnock was a record shop called Bruce's. It was a trendy one. If you wanted to be young, trendy, hey, I'm a bit up, you went to Bruce's to buy a record because the bags were cool. You wouldn't go to Woolworths or W.H. Smith's or John Menzies or whatever. You went to Bruce's, and I went into Bruce's to buy the record, and they didn't have it. And the guy behind the counter, he recommended The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. My goodness, I can't thank that guy enough. What an amazing album, and that got me into Bowie. So, 2 favourite bands, artists, whatever you want to call them, The Clash and David Bowie. You might think, it's a bit different, but are they really? Could you say Bowie didn't have a punk attitude? Would argue with you there. Anywho, I digress. So that's basically my background, where I come from, what I'm into and how I got into it. Now, as I said earlier, there is no record stores in Kilmarnock anymore. You've got to travel. And we usually, myself, my friend Alan, who's a massive vinyl fan, collects lots of vinyl, a bit like myself, probably buy too much. We travel, and the closest place to go, the best place to go, one of the best places in Britain actually to go, is we'll jump in the train and we'll drive up to, we'll take the train up to Glasgow, or Glasgow as we call it if you want to use the local lingo. And there's a plethora of vinyl shops in Glasgow, to suit all tastes, absolutely amazing. There's some that are out of this world, and there's some that maybe eyes, maybe not. However, we do this, myself and Alan, we get up once every 3 months, I would say, and we do a record and beer day. Now listen, it's important to get them in that order: records, then beer. If you go the other way, you go beer, then records, that can turn out to be quite an expensive day. After a few beers, money doesn't seem to have any value. I've got a wee plastic card that can buy me anything, and sometimes you forget. So it's best to do records, then beer. And that's what we done. We done a week or so ago. We taken a trip up to Glasgow. Now usually we would get down, there's about 8 or 9 record shops we'd usually get down. West coast of Scotland, middle of March, weather's dreadful, man. Really poor. It was a horrible day, heavy sleet, windy. So we only managed to get down 3 stores. But that was fine because we went to our favourite store. It's personally it's the best record. I've been in, goodness, dozens and record stores, and this shop is the best, in my opinion, by far. It's called Mixed Up Records. It's in West End of Glasgow, just off Otago Street, and it's on Otago Lane, and it's absolutely fantastic. Why is it fantastic? Well, for a start, the chap, the buyer, whoever curates their stock or buys in their stock or decides what they're going to keep on the shelf, guy deserves a medal. It's phenomenal. It really is. You know, they do a lot of, they'll have a lot of limited editions or special editions, or whatever you want to call them. If a band's maybe putting out an album and maybe 500 of them are on coloured vinyl, or maybe a certain amount will include a live album, these guys will have it. So they will. I've always loved it, and his prices are decent. It's a cracking shop. It's not the biggest, but it's really well laid out. But for me, the best thing about Mixed Up is a second-hand or used section. It's fantastic. It's, my goodness, and I said I've been in a lot of shops. This is the best by miles. Their stuff is always spotlessly clean. The vinyl is in excellent condition. The inside, the inner sleeves, excellent, and the outer sleeves, absolutely brilliant. And the best thing about it is it's very well priced. They do not rip you off. Can't beat it. So we went there, as I said, a week or so ago, up in the train, from good old Kelly, up to the Big Smoke, and we went round the record shops. Everything I bought in the first shop. We only went to 3 shops due to the weather. Everything I bought in Mixed Up Records. I bought 5 albums, which I'm just going to show you in a minute. All of them in Mixed Up Records. The other 2 shops we went to, one of them strange because I was saying earlier about records and beer. Make sure you get the records first before you get the beer. Well, the second place we went to, which is in Finnieston, which is the Finnieston Strip, which is heading towards the West End in Glasgow, there's a record shop there called Strip Joint, but it's not just a record shop, it's also a bar. It's a bar with a record shop in it. That can be dangerous because the number of years ago when we started doing the beer and record day, or the record and beer day, that was one of the last places we went to. And we were gagging for a beer by this time. You know, we were 6 or 7 shops in, we had walked for hours, we had no food, looking for a beer in there, half a dozen beers in, and then, as I say, you just the financial restraints disappear, man, and before you know it, you've bought another half a dozen albums in this shop that probably you didn't want or you didn't need, but you're 6 pints in, you're bevied. Dangerous game. So yeah, we only went to 3 shops. One of them was a major chain fop, rubbish. Strip Joint, good stuff. I was more there for the beer, but Mixed Up, first stop, absolutely brilliant, great. And in there I bought 5 albums. As I said, two of them, as I said earlier about their second-hand section, their used records section is bang on. I've got two great examples here to show you, and I've got 3 new albums as well, which were well priced. One was well for me, a biggish ticket item. So I'll crack on straight away. As I said, early doors in the video, punk, first wave of punk, 76, 77, Clash done it for me, blew my socks off. There was also some other great bands that I listened to as well, but they just resonated with me. I just stuck with the Clash as my favourite, but I did like all the others, and one of them I liked lots were Stranglers. Now, this album, this is strange. Not that the album's strange, it's a great album, but it's all killer. Absolutely no album tracks, and it's all killer, brilliant. Stranglers 4. Well, Ratit's not got in the back of this, that's the inside sleeve. Stranglers 4. Rattus Navigicus. Various names for this album. When I was younger down my way, this was simply called the Stranglers' first album. So the minute a band, Stranglers, the Damned whoever, brought out a second album, their first album, they dropped the name and it was called the second album. So some would say to you, have you any Stranglers records? Yeah, oh yeah, I've got the Raven plus their first album. Have you got any Damned records? Oh yeah, I've got Machine Gun Etiquette plus their first album. The first album name disappeared. Probably that's a localism, unique to my area. But anyway, Stranglers 4, Rattus Navigicus, sleeve is absolutely mint condition. It's still glossy, it's smooth, beautiful. The inner, not a mark in it. Sorry if the light's getting in the way there. Not a mark in that. Absolutely amazing for a second-hand record. And the quality of the vinyl is immense. Shiny. No, absolutely. I cleaned it before I played it. I probably didn't need to because it's absolutely amazing. What a lovely clean copy. This is a first press. I've checked the codes in the dead wax with Discogs, and it is indeed a first press. This was a tenner. Now that's value in anybody's money. 10 quid. Superb buy. Bit the guy's hand off. Not literally. Second one, first wave punk, the Stranglers. Sticking with the punk theme, moving on a bit into the second wave of punk. Exploited Punk's Not Dead, or as they say down my way, Exploited's first album. Absolute banger, great album. They Exploited really at the front. Second wave punk, when it came in, oh god my goodness, there was some amazing bands, but these guys, Edinburgh's finest, these were at the front of it without a doubt, with bands like Krongen, the Brass of Wheels, That's Just been out for a while, but they certainly came to prominence in the early 80s. And the second wave, kind of harder sound, harder core punk, bit different from the anarcho punk, which we'll maybe touch on in another video, but certainly Exploited were up there with, as I said, your Brass of Wheels, Krongen, Discharge, GBH, bands like that. Absolutely excellent. And this again used first press on Secret Records. I think this has been reissued, this album, I'm sure it has, but it will not be in Secret. First press in Secret, again, checked it in Discogs with the dead wax, and it's absolutely mint condition. Absolutely beautiful. There's no mark on that. Again, I cleaned it, but I probably didn't need to. Either I did. As far as Exploited albums goes, there's still the album rages on. Is this their best album, or was it Troops of Tomorrow? You can decide yourself, you're into that sort of thing. I like this because it was the first album. This was years of work, build up, you know, and I think Exploited were underrated, you know. You look at Big John, played guitar for him, went on to play Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie, and the guy played the drums, absolutely brilliant. And Watty's, not only his lyrics, but his voice fitted the sound. And really, no, he's never going to be the best lyricist in the world, is he? He's never going to be Elvis Costello, and you know, he's not. His voice is his voice, but it fits this. And sometimes somebody just fits a band, and he did. He fit it. I mean, it's Exploited, I suppose. For me, great album. Could listen to this all day long. Some absolutely cracking tracks on it. The Exploited Bar Me Army always, you know, makes me smell a cracking track. But I like Cop Car. I think that's a good one. What are you doing to me, ma? Kind of resonates with me, that one. Great album. If you haven't got it, maybe you want to buy it. I don't know. Maybe you don't. I did. 15 bangers. Bargain. Then there was the new stuff, and this is where we start to diverge a wee bit. Lately, my kind of taste, well, I say lately, my kind of taste have changed a wee bit lately. Regarding newer stuff I'm buying. still like the punk stuff and modern punk stuff, or people have got a punk attitude. But, you know, maybe the last 4 years I've got right into reggae. And that started when I heard U-Roy. I think I managed to come across it on Spotify some 4 or 5 years ago. And I listened to U-Roy and thought, God, this guy. And I remember Joe Strummer speaking about him. I thought, this is exceptional. Obviously, the Clash and Ruts first pump as they put a bit of reggae into their music, so I was aware of it. But I started buying it. I had heard it, but I started buying it, say, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a wee bit longer than that. And I've built up a wee decent collection. So when I was in Mixed Up a couple of weeks ago, I picked up this Augustus Pablo. Now, I don't know if this is his first, his fifth, or his 25th album. No clue. I just know it's fantastic. It's instrumental. It's a reissue. It's a reissue of an older pressing, but for 15 quid, brand new, great album. There's the man there. His wee thing that he's blowing in. I'm not sure what that is, but it's a cracking cover. I'm going to be honest with you, I've done this before, but it's always been an educated guess. There was 2 or 3 Augustus Pablo albums, but I chose this simply with the colour. I loved the cover. I thought, that's brilliant. Look at the colour in that. I'm for a bit of that. And that's why I bought this one, and I wasn't disappointed at all. It's lovely and clean, brand new. He's got a good section of musicians on this. Some I've heard before, some I haven't. But I'm sure this was recorded at Channel 1 Studios, as in Channel 1 Studios was on by the Clash. I think they done stuff there, Channel 1 Studios in Jamaica, and I'm sure that's where Mikey Dread, I'm sure, was involved with Channel 1. I might be wrong, but I'm sure he was. Anyway, there's the man there himself. Really cool looking dude. Love that hair. And this, again, is a cracking album. It's on the Greensleeves label, which I love because it's a fantastic centre. Just needed a wee clean, I must admit. It was a wee bit dirty in the sleeve, but it plays great. It's a really good pressing. And Greensleeves Records never really let you down. I would say that it's a quality record label. So there we go. The first new purchase in the shop on the day was Augustus Pablo. I'm trying to keep this out of the light for you because I'm conscious of the fact that there is the shadow coming in. So there we go. There's Augustus there. Don't know what album it is. If anybody knows, if it's his first, his 10th, his 25th, whatever, let me know. I'd love to know. I can't be bothered looking up myself, to be honest with you. So after this was my kind of big ticket. I suppose it isn't a big ticket album, you might think, but I love Queens of the Stone Age, I love Josh Homme, but I've also recently got into Brant Bjork, who's, you know, it was a collaborator with Josh Homme and various others, and with Michael Gracias, I think. But getting into Brant Bjork take me down other rabbit holes. You get into one new thing, you get into the Stone of the Rock, and it seems to take you down a rabbit hole, and I was desperate to get one of these albums. I couldn't find one, and eventually get this Kaus album. Absolutely fantastic. This is basically, it's titled The Best of Kaus. I don't know, it was 35 quid, blue vinyl, double album, and this is superb. This is Stoner Rock at its best. If you like Queens of the Stone Age or anything like that, you haven't heard this, then it's well worth getting a copy of this. You maybe get it for cheaper than that. You might know, I don't know if that's expensive or not, but anyway, it's well worth it. I've listened to this 2 or 3 times, and it's an absolute blinding album. Absolutely fantastic, and it's a lovely blue. I would say that's like an Oxford blue, and it's got little black flecks through it. And again, this plays really well. It's a fantastic copy. It does play well. It's a great album. If that is their singles, I'm no suggesting for a minute that isn't, then wow. Excellent, every one of them. I really enjoy it. I sit to some tracks in the back. I don't know if you can see them there, I hope you can, but Demon Cleaner's a great track. First track, side B. It's maybe my favourite. Hurricane, I don't know. Demon Cleaner, Hurricane, maybe my 2 favourite tracks in the album, but you can't go wrong with any of them. It's a numbered copy as well, but there's always been a lot printed for that 6,500 there. So, but 35 quid, well worth it. They only had one of these, and he had one other Kaus album. And he did say, the chap in the shop did say, look, these, we only get these once in a blue moon. They're quite hard to come by. They come straight from the record label. And this is this on Elektra? I think it is an Elektra. No, I'm not sure. Not sure actually, I think it's an Elektra anyway, but it came straight from they had to order it straight from the record company, but what a fantastic album. 4 sides and some absolute great tracks. Some of them last quite long, 8 minutes, nearly 9 minutes. Some are only 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. But yeah, what an album! Great album, fantastic, love it. I've listened to it, a lot since I got it, more than any of the other ones actually. And the last thing I bought was the reissue of Dalí's Car album. Now, another band I really liked a lot back in the day was Bauhaus, did like Japan too. And this is Pete Murphy, Mick Can. Pete Murphy, Bauhaus, Mick Can, Japan. This is a great album. This is a reissue in purple vinyl. I've listened to the album before. I haven't opened this yet. I haven't played this yet. I haven't time to get around to it, to open it. I have opened it, but I haven't played it. It's in purple vinyl. And I've actually need to give it a clean as well. And there's a wax there. Absolutely beautiful. Nice inners as well. And this is an absolutely fantastic album. Some great tracks on it. It was put out as a gothic masterpiece. That's what it was back in the day when it came out originally. I'm not sure what year it came out, in the mid-80s probably. And it was advertised as a gothic masterpiece. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it is, but it's Mick Can, Pete Murphy. What a great combination, a great sound. I mean, you know, Murphy's voice is just, you know, you've heard it's listened to Bauhaus. Or even his solo stuff, you'll know he's got this great voice. Still going yet, as far as I know as well, Bauhaus. But this was this was sort of last minute buy, and he actually had this on sale. It was reduced, I think it was reduced down to 18 quid, which was a great buy. And this was like kind of last minute going out the door. You know what, I'll just take that as well. Might as well add it in to the pile for 18 quid, you know, sweetie money. So that on the day, that was my final purchase, was Dalí's Car, Waking album reissue on purple vinyl. I don't know if this was a record store day. I'm not sure if it was. I can't quite remember. I don't know if it is. I don't know if there's a record store day release or not for a couple of years back or whatever. Not sure. Anyway, I'll need to get a listen to it because I haven't yet, and I will today perhaps. It's certainly, I have heard it before, and it's certainly a very good album. So that was my purchases on my last record trip, crate digging in Glasgow. I thought, this is my latest purchases, my newest purchases. I'm new to YouTube. This is, you know, I might be the latest member of the vinyl community, if there's such a thing. So why not show my latest purchases? We'll just keep the connection there. You know, it flows, doesn't it, I suppose. Next time, we'll do some other stuff. We've got so many things I want to talk about. I touched on punk earlier, first and second wave. We'll get into that and some other things as well, some anarcho punk and stuff and various other things as well. Whatever I've bought, I've got records on the way. I've got to stop buying online. At the moment, I don't buy as much online. I tend to go crate digging, but I do have some stuff coming in the post, so we can open them, we can reveal them when they come in. Do a wee bit of box opening or whatever it is they do. I've seen people doing that. It seems to be quite exciting, so we can do for that. Anyway, that's my first video. It's 22 minutes. It's probably longer than it should have been, but I've just got too much to say probably. Anyway, VC, you guys take care. Stay free.